Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this video on enjoying setting your goals as much as your successes. In this video, we will show you how to set your goals. The thing you have to realize is that unless you haven't defined your destination, how are you going to know how to get there? It is like setting off in your car without having an address for your GPS. Setting a goal will make sure your objective has the maximum potential of succeeding. Goal setting is defined as something you want to achieve in a specific period of time. This definition is important with your Quran and Dua goals. Now, consider 5 years ago. If your goal then was to memorize the Quran, and if you stayed on track, then today you would be a Hafiz, inshallah. Without even setting this goal, you would not have made any improvement. The person who wants to be a Hafiz and didn't set this goal 5 years ago may have started to learn parts of the Quran, then given up, or thought that he would learn a few du'as and then get back to it soon, or simply lost direction or frustration on the way. If you have a clear goal to set your sights on and use someone to be accountable to, then today you, inshallah, would have become a Hafiz or Hafizah. In this session, I will show you some examples of real Quran and Dua goals that have been set, and they may even be ones that you have. Then we will have a look at the right way to set goals, and then show you how to apply the new rules to improve and make very specific goals. Lastly, for this video, we will have a quick look at Dua Coach and how it naturally uses the SMART principles. Here are some of the goals that people have made when they have embarked on their Quran and Dua learning. And as you read them, ask yourself, is this the type of goal that you set for yourself normally? Also, as you read them, make a judgment on if you think it's a good goal or a bad one. Firstly, to memorize the last juz of the Quran. Is this a good or a bad goal? We will cover how good or bad it is in a later slide. Read the Quran in English. This does look like a great intention, but is it a good goal? Read some Quran every day, something we should all do, but do you think the person will maintain this goal? Now this one's very generic. We all want to learn du'as, but which ones? Read the Quran daily. This is similar to the one above. Increase my iman. This is a very vague goal. Again, a noble intention, but what needs to happen to increase your iman? Now you have seen the type of goals which people do set. You may have had this intention to increase your knowledge or your relationship with the Quran, but without setting a specific goal, then you won't achieve it, and you won't know how well you are progressing through it. Some of you may know the SMART principles, but it's good to refresh and remind ourselves how it works. Also, people often forget what the A stands for. Before we launch into it, I would like you to write down a goal you want to achieve. So pause this recording if you can and write or think about your goal. Okay, so you have a goal in mind. Is it specific? We saw goals which mentioned that they wanted to increase their iman. This is clearly not specific. Something specific would be, I will perform Umrah in February to increase my iman. This way, you know who is going to do it, what they will do, where they will do it, when it will happen, and why you want to do it. Is your goal measurable? Iman might be a difficult thing to measure. In English, Iman means faith. How can you measure a stronger faith? There are two aspects to this. Your goal is to perform Umrah, which is measurable, with certain milestones along the way. Did you pray Tahajjud in the Masjid al-Haram? Did you sit and read Quran in front of the Kaaba? All of these things you can measure. Now, in terms of measuring the strength of your faith, at each milestone, you can give yourself a score and measure yourself from 0 to 10 on the strength of your faith. And the ones that score higher marks, you repeat those activities. Now, your goal to perform Umrah, is it attainable? When looking at if something is attainable, many people have trouble distinguishing between attainable and realistic. Attainable refers to something that may be possible, so it looks to the future. Whereas realistic looks to see, is there something stopping it from starting now? So with the Umrah example, do you have support? Do you have financial means to achieve this? Look at your skills. Are there any showstoppers? Your goal finally needs to be timely, as if it is open-ended, you are not really going to commit to it. Though having your goal too far in the future will have the same effect and will lack urgency and also generate low motivation. So having your Umrah goal set to 10 years time lacks the urgency and motivation to act now. Now that we have looked at a structure of creating a goal, let's revisit some of the earlier goals and see how they can be improved. Memorize the 30th juz can be improved to memorize the 30th juz in 2 months. This makes the goal specific to what you want to learn, measurable by setting the milestone plan and monitoring progress. It is both attainable and realistic, and having the 2 months deadline makes this new goal time-bound. Our next goal, to read the Quran in English, can be improved to read 1 chapter of the Quran per week in English. Again, a goal can be set in this way, can be measurable, and also you can track your progress. Read some Quran every day can be updated to read 3 pages of the Quran every day until a specific date. So this is specific, time-bound, realistic, measurable, and attainable. Learn du'as of course needs more detail and is far too vague. If we change it to learn the du'a for travelling by next Friday, you can immediately see what will be achieved and by when. Again, read the Quran daily can be changed to read 3 pages of the Quran after Fajr up to a specific chapter. Now, increase my iman, as mentioned before, is very vague. Changing it to something like perform Umrah by February to increase my iman gives us a measurable way of increasing iman. As you can see, having clearly defined goals in a smart way is a very powerful way to set a defined achievement. Now let's see how Dua Coach naturally uses these SMART principles so you don't even have to think about what makes a good SMART goal or not. Dua Coach does it all for you. Dua Coach takes the hard work out for you. You simply have to select a dua or some Quran that you want to learn, and your selection automatically becomes a SMART goal. When you make your selection on the left side, be it a single chapter, a whole juz, or a specific dua, then add it to your plan, it automatically becomes a specific goal, which means that you know exactly what to learn. Dua Coach makes your goal measurable by monitoring your progress as you make your way through your dua or surah. You can always slow down your pace if you find it too quick per day. By displaying your lessons for the week in real time allows you to adjust the number of words or lines you receive per day. And so, with keeping your capacity of learning in mind, you can see for that week if your goal is attainable. Again, you can adjust it if not. Making a realistic goal can be set here. You can set up to 3 times a day in that you can receive your lesson. But is that realistic? Only you can tell. Also, make sure you select your times that you realistically have the environment to learn. For example, after Fajr, or when you go to bed, and so on. Setting your pace here and selecting how quick or slow you want to make it automatically sets you an end date to which you can work towards. And if you want to finish it sooner, then it's as easy as changing the number of lines or words you receive per day. In summary, we have looked at some examples of goals which people set, though are not quite SMART and have the potential not to succeed. We covered the SMART definition and the way to set your goals to give you a higher chance to succeed. We went on to revise the original goals and demonstrate how they can follow the SMART principles. We then showed you within Dua Coach how all the hard work of setting the SMART goals are already done to get you going with the task of learning your Quran and du'as. In the next video, we will explore Dua Coach further, and based on your goals, we will see how we can match the content of Dua Coach to align with your goals, inshallah.